Good morning, folks. Unfortunately, I'm having to use my phone to do this part of the video today because rather stupidly my GoPro has decided not to charge. Anyway, we're out for a pre-race ride today on home roads with a home group of people. I've had to get to most hill climbs the day before and stay the night, whereas tomorrow I'm actually making a trip up to North Wales for the hill climb on the morning to save a bit of money and, well, so that I'm actually home today because obviously I'm away next week. Oh, I don't know if you've ever seen this as well, but I've made some homemade toe covers out of old neoprene overshoes that were starting to get holes in them basically. So I think they've turned out okay. This is the first time you're seeing them. Go easy on me. Disco Ed. Ciao.
Is that me?
Who would have known there was so many ice cream scoops? Some of them made of zinc or something. Been on a bit of a shopping spree. Nothing fancy. Well, some new brushes to wash my bike with. The chain specifically. Do you want to show the candles? There's some nice candles for winter.
Well,
There are lots of candles there for Halloween. There's loads of Christmas stuff there already. Oh, that's a cup of coffee in it.
it smells like coffee.
Whipped s'mores latte. Oh, I've not zoomed out, so you're gonna have my face like really close to the screen. Anyway, pre-race shop. Now I do need to go and get food, so that's why we've come out. Not to get scented candles. Right, everyone. It is absolute chaos here this evening because obviously I'm having to pack for the race tomorrow, the hill climb, which I'm leaving at like 4:30 in the morning for. Oh, there's a terrible echo. So early start tomorrow, and then I've also had to pack for Monday just to put my mind at ease. Oh yeah, we bought this today. Ice cream scoop for after the nationals. There was
of my spoons being bent.
Yeah, we are bending spoons because the ice cream's too hard. There was a mad choice of ice cream scoops, wasn't there? I wanted to show you some of the things in terms of prep because this is the first time this season, I think, for this hill climb campaign that I'm like at home the night before I do a race. So with an early start on the cards tomorrow, I'm going to take a coffee with me in a thermos. So I can obviously have my pre-ride coffee beforehand. Upgrade to my pre-race rice pudding. I've added some strawberry jam, a big old spoonful. So that's going to be my half of my breakfast in the morning. The other half is in there, which is dry granola basically. And then if I need it, I've got a choice between some gels or some dates for last minute snack basically. Handful of dates or one gel. The choice will be mine when the time comes. So I think that's it. We're all prepped for tomorrow. Bike is clean and ready and set up to go. It is virtually race ready apart from the race wheels, which are there ready. Saves me like making elephant noises around the flat first thing tomorrow morning and waking everybody else up. So that means the lights are on, my tiny lights under here. You can't see them from there, that's for sure. There's my backlight. It's a pretty decent one actually. Look at that. Oh, yeah.
So tiny.
I don't know if you can actually see it like from any distance, but I mean,
And then the front one is exactly the same.
Yeah, so all I have to do is put race wheels on it in the morning after I've probably done my warm-up, and then we're good to go. I will do my usual pre-race brief before the event, the weather, pacing strategy, and the climb, of course, introduce you to the climb, and then we will see how we get on. So that's going to be it for this evening. I'll see you tomorrow, race day. Well, I feel like I've won the lottery for parking my car somewhere before a race today. I am about 0.3 miles away from the start on this lane which runs adjacent to the main road we'll be climbing up, which I stuck the GoPro on the dashboard to film, so you can see the climb in its entirety a bit faster than what I'll be doing it. So funny enough, this lane is where we'll be racing in exactly a month's time at the National Championships. Look at this. Wales is just awesome. Hopefully it'll be like this in a month's time. That would be wicked. That'd be some great photos. Right, I thought it'd be a good idea to stretch my legs. I've got about 2 hours before, 2 hours 15 minutes until my start time. So I've got a lot of time to kill. Leaving very early this morning meant that I could get here and chill out, have a walk, stretch my legs, and try and shake off that drive, which I probably won't be able to, but you know, the thought is there. Once I have stretched my legs, I intend to sit in the car with the heater on full blast to try and warm up before I then go out and do an actual warm-up. Okay, so today's hill climb is the Horseshoe Pass Hill Climb. It's taking place on roughly a 3-kilometre climb. It's the longer version of this lane, so if you want to take the short steep route, you go up here. If you want to take the longer, I guess shallower route, you take the Horseshoe Pass, the one that's probably more famous, I think I'm fair in saying. So the modest gradient is about 7 to 8%, although there's a section near the top, kind of out of nowhere, hits you square in the face with like at least double digits. And it's kind of a bit of a shock really, because you spend so much time on this shallower gradient, you don't really expect to meet something on this main road, which this is. I bet France or Croatia won't be like this next week. Ideally, today I want to leave nothing on the table. It's non-negotiable, right? I'm coming here today to see if I can hold 440 to 450 watts for as long as possible. That's my single biggest goal. If I can get as close to that as possible, anywhere like a couple of watts, you know, even if it's 437, 435, as close to 440 to 450 watts as possible. Why? I'm doing it really for two things. One, this climb today is a kind of a weird length. It's going to be roughly 8-9 minutes. So there's a chance to sort of push myself a couple of minutes longer than I have been over the last couple of weeks. In most of the hill climbs have been around 5 minutes long. So for 5 minutes I've been able to do 450, 460. So I'm curious, I'm the sort of rider who doesn't have that much of a drop off, and when things do start to drop off as time goes on, they don't drop off drastically. So I need to push myself and find this drop off. So I've got a couple of non-negotiables today in terms of what I want from this event. You can obviously come to an event and say, you know, I want to win, but it's out of your control. So my non-negotiable today is to see if I can push myself just a little bit longer and a little bit further than I have done in previous weeks. So this is where this lane meets the main road. This climb should take in the region of about 8 to 9 minutes. However, the last minute it's a little bit shallower. So it's one of the climbs where it's easy to get everything out of yourself because the gradient is virtually the same all the way up, apart from one simple section near the top, and then obviously the top bit, which is a lot shallower. So when you know the climb is getting shallower, then a positive split to a certain extent in your power strategy may increase your chances of getting a faster time. So that's what I'm going to deploy today. I'm going to try and set off between 440 to 450 watts. I'm not going to split hairs on the wattage, and then I'm going to see if I can sustain that for the duration. Even if I get to 5 or 6 minutes, every single 30 seconds or 40 seconds I can get past that, every single second I can get past that means I'm pushing new territory. And that's what I need to take myself to today. So have you ever wondered what I end up doing when I've got 2 hours to kill before my bike race? No, thought not. I mean, well, I'll tell you anyway, not much. Apart from warming up, it's just about sort of trying to do something that just either calms the nerves or just gets me ready for the event.
The Tour de France stage for Vingegaard, making sure it's a small controllable break. Well, perhaps after Bilbao, Huish Laverack you see pacing. So the group is...
So a quick recon of the climb was pretty valuable because there seems to be a headwind for the section that I thought there would be. The longest straightest section, so the first bit down here by the start is quite steep, and then we turn into that like dead straight for probably a good kilometre, and that won't affect my pacing strategy because if anything it just gives me extra resistance to push against when I start to crumble midway through. So I'm going to chuck the race wheels on now. They're pumped up to 80 psi. They are smaller tyres as well, remember, so they're not 28s, they're not 25s, they're 23s. So finding the right pressure for those is like a little bit of a sweet spot guessing game. But with today's surface fairly good and the climb being on a main road, I'm fairly confident that going slightly higher than I have been in the lanes for the climbs that have been on the lanes is a good strategy. But so with half an hour to go before the start, virtually everything is done. The bulk of the warm-up, probably the only thing I've left now is 5-10 minutes of just cruising around. And then I obviously end the warm-up at the start. I strip off, so everything that I've warmed up in I'll take off. I might put a base layer on under the skin suit, although judging by the temperature I probably won't. But I will take a jacket and then I'll chuck it. And what most organisers do, if they're on the ball, which they are here today, is you chuck whatever kit you don't want in a box and they take it up to the top, to the headquarters, and then you can just reclaim it afterwards, which is a really good thing because most of us obviously park at the bottom, so we don't have to descend in a skin suit to the start. So yeah, half an hour to go. I take the last bit of drink, I have a gel, I get kitted up, race wheels are on, and that's it really. It's just about sort of keeping the legs moving and not just, if you can help it, not just standing around and chatting, but that tends to happen anyway. Well, we can scrap everything I said about having good legs before the start. Turns out my legs were not good. And I mean, that was probably bound to happen given the drive this morning. But such is life. I still came second again to Andy Feather. I'll take that one this time, given the circumstances. My legs sort of half fell off, maybe halfway up, but I definitely did enough to come second. Got 2 medals, one for second place and one for participation. I love the fact they give a medal for participation because it gives you something to remember the event by. We both actually broke course record. I broke course record and about a minute later Andy broke course record. So another cracking event run by the Wrexham squad. This is like the second time I've done this hill climb. I've come second twice now, so I've got to break that. I've got to break that trend the next time I come up here, which will obviously be in a month's time for the Nationals. I'll break it then. I'll win the Nationals, and then I'll break that second place run. By my own standards, my ride was okay. It wasn't like mind blowing. If you know I had the legs, probably not after a drive like that. But still, I was going to see if I had the legs to deliver that sort of wattage after all we've been through so far. But even though we haven't been able to today, that doesn't mean we won't be able to at some point in the future. So I'm keeping my hopes up, I'm keeping positive, and I'm looking forward to my next hill climb already, which will be 2 weeks today. So, right, that's a wrap on this North Wales adventure. Heading back south now. It was great to catch up with quite a few people I haven't seen in ages, not least the organisation and the marshals and everything else, who obviously spend like all morning out there on that mountain. So thank you everyone for your time, you that are watching too, and everyone here at the event. Let's get home. I'll see you in 2 weeks for another hill climb video. Until then, we've got Croatia to keep us busy.